We are getting answers on why some Louisville voters faced long lines and delays on Election Day. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Hayden Ristevsky.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. WDRB's Darby Beans shares what the Secretary of State says might be a solution and why the clerk's office says the idea would be nearly impossible in Jefferson County.
Jefferson County Clerk Bobby Holzclaw apologized for those long lines on Election Day and said the problems could not have been predicted.
I have learned lessons through this.
Less than 24 hours after the polls closed, Holzclaw says what led to those lines, especially in the morning on Election Day, had to do with the e-poll books, the little devices where voters show their IDs and pick up a ballot.
What can you explain as far as what happened with that?
The Wi-Fi could not carry all of the data that was going through there. That was the problem.
The clerk's office says when those were turned on Tuesday morning, they started downloading all the information from early voting. The system works to make sure the same person isn't able to then show up on Election Day to try to vote again. But it slowed the system and those lines.
The problem is they weren't turned on early enough to boot, to process, to get the many thousands of people downloaded from the cloud into the e-poll books. And we had no problem like that in 119 other counties.
At least one poll worker says he didn't appreciate a comment from the clerk's office Tuesday morning about some workers not powering up their machines until the polls opened. He wanted to make clear he would have been willing to show up earlier to get the devices running, but said the poll workers were trained to show up at 5:15.
We had no idea that there was going to be any download or any issues.
He says the lag was evident soon after the doors opened for voting.
To the point that you touch a key and we touch it several times to get it going again and it would lock it up.
I think the best way to fix this going forward is for us to address this legislatively and require this best practice in the statute and just simply say you got to have your e-poll books powered on the day before the election to allow this download to occur.
I think that would be a wonderful idea. I mean, we'd be willing to help out in any way, like I stated earlier.
If that happens, would you be able to follow that in Jefferson
It'd
County?
be very difficult for here in Jefferson with as many precincts as we have. Close to impossible, really.
It's an issue Holzclaw says she's never faced before and says she's taking responsibility.
It wasn't every polling location that had that problem. I apologize to everybody for it, but you know, these things happen and I don't make excuses for them.
Reporting in Louisville, Darby Bean, WDRB News.